Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. I've just got my cup of tea, so excuse me if I drink my tea, but don't go anywhere because I just got to get right into this. But where are we? Boom. Nope. Don't tell me. No, it's there. There it is. If you are new to the channel or you're subscribed to the channel, please check on the community post tab. You'll see that you've got home, videos, shorts, live, playlist, and then posts. If you click on the posts screen, we are running a poll. Now it all becomes clear. If you watched the video last night, you'll see that there is a meeting with the Celtic Fans Collective on the 3rd of February. Now, Jim Lister got in touch with me and he said Celtic fans signing a petition similar to a vote of no confidence in getting Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay to leave the club. Surely, if there's an online petition with hundreds of thousands of signatures on it, then Dermot would have to take notice. Just expand that. He would have to take notice of this. Hashtag do the right thing, resign, Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay. And as it stands, there's 437 votes on this nice little channel. I want to try and get it to around about 1,500, 2,000 if we can. That'll give a good representation of the channel. We are sitting on a nice number of subscribers that's climbing every day. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate it. But do please, everyone, vote on this poll because the reason that we're having the poll is we're trying to get as many voices as possible so that the Celtic board know that it's just not a couple of people. And I know that not everyone, listen, I get it, not everyone's enamoured with the Celtic Fans Collective. They maybe see that it's Green Brigade focused, it's boys focused, but there was also a question last night about who would word this. And it would be I would go to whoever wrote, or whoever, the people that wrote the letter from the Celtic Supporters Association. I would get them to word it because those guys have put out the best document yet, the most well written document on the reasons that why Nicholson and Chris Mackay should leave. And I would get in touch with people that I know at the trust to get the Celtic Supporters Association to get their input, and that would be the way forward for the way that I would back it. Hopefully we'll get as many people to vote on it as possible. As I say, it's sitting at 437 votes already. Yes to a petition, and send it to the club sponsors. The reason that you want to send it to the club sponsors is it puts pressure on the Celtic board, and do the right thing, Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay. We are days away from the end of the window, and there is speculation that we're going to bring in a player or two, but we'll talk about the deal that Motherwell are ultimately looking for. But at the end of the day, we cannot allow, and the reasons that I think. Now, I'm not disputing the fact that as a business, financially, the club has been run good. But this is why I want Nicholson and Chris Mackay gone. Transfer negotiations, window after window after window after window, have been lackadaisical. Transfer negotiations are the mainstay of the football club. This is what Chris Mackay and Michael Nicholson get paid for. So I'm appealing to every single Celtic fan that watches the channel, if you can jump onto this vote, because it's important that I give this across to the meeting on the 3rd with a massive amount of people backing the vote in whichever way that it goes. You know, if you don't want to sign a petition, vote that you don't want. If you do want a petition and you want to send it to the club sponsors, do that, so that we put pressure on Chris Mackay and Michael Nicholson to do the right thing and resign. We're not going to get rid of the board. We're not going to get, the sack the board campaign is as good as it is. I think that we need to up the level, and that is the reason that there is the meeting from the Celtic Fans Collective on the 3rd of February. Right, that's got that bit out the road. Let's jump back on to this. Just going to refresh that and see if it's had any more votes whilst we have been on live. As the page refreshes. Maybe don't. Yeah. Yeah, it's went up. Perfect. Anyway, right, back to the fallout. And it is a fallout from the game against so the game against Hearts. During the game, the Hearts manager tried to, well, he did. He entered the dugout of Celtic during the game. He tried to have a go at Mark Fotheringham. I'll call him out for it. He then had comments after the match about the fact that Celtic don't get red cards. That's trying to put pressure on the referees and such like. Celtic have come out and they are going to obviously, and there is a meeting today to get to see if the red card will be rescinded. This will be a good one. And this will tell how open and honest the SFA, etc. are. But former Celtic midfield player Peter Grant, I love Peter Grant, because he wasn't the best midfielder, but he was no nonsense. Peter Pointer. He was no nonsense. He was a toe pointer. Just kick the ball. But he's Celtic through and through. And he said on Go Radio yesterday, I thought Derek's comments about Celtic not getting red cards were really poor. I think that's ridiculous. The SFA should look at that because that's trying to put pressure on referees for me. I'd like to say to Derek, if you can show us when Celtic should have had a red card, then your words and your comments stand. But until then, it is a rubbish comment. It is a comment that is not of a top manager. And it's a comment that shows how bitter of a little currant bun that you are. He never said that. I had that bit. But anyway, a lot of people can't stand McInnes. We all know what he is. Look, and fair play to him. He's got Hearts playing a certain style of football. But I think that Peter Grant is right to have a go at him. And he needs called out. Anyway, Callum McGregor, he's been talking about publicly, said he wants more players in. He's asked the board once again to just get his finger out. 2 windows in a row, Callum McGregor's done that. Says that we need some players in. But who and whom will we get in? There's talk of Celtic, obviously, looking at a certain Motherwell player. And Motherwell have, it's been said, want £3 million. £3 million plus Stephen Welsh. Do the deal, Celtic. Do the deal this morning. Why wait? Because Rangers are said to be wanting to put in a bid of £4 million cash. They want Stephen Welsh back. We have an upper hand on this one. They get a player full time. Stephen Welsh would be more than happy to go back to Motherwell. He can't go anywhere else. He can't play anywhere else this season. He's played for 2 teams this season. I think that if I was Michael Nicholson, I'd pick up the phone this morning and have the conversation. Because if Michael Nicholson, if he's not already had the conversation and he knows that it's 3 million plus Stephen Welsh, what's the hold up? Let's get the deal done. I don't know. Stephen Welsh will champ at the bit because he's getting to play full-time football. He's at a club that wants to play him. Look, even if it comes down to it, put in a buyback clause. Say Stephen Welsh in the next couple of years matures into a fantastic defender. I know. Calm down. There's limits. Drink some more tea. What if Stephen Welsh, with game time, does what Liam Scales did to his career and excels as a player? Put in a little caveat of a buyback option for £3 million for Stephen Welsh. So not only are you giving them £3 million now, plus Stephen Welsh, you're giving them the opportunity to improve the player and give them a buyback option of £3 million. Deal done. Potentially £6 million over a 3 to 4 year period, and deal me in. Simple. It's not hard. It's not hard, Michael. Do you know? And if you don't do it, do the right thing, Michael. Resign. That's my plea to Michael Nicholson this morning. So if you're getting your taxi into work, if you're driving into work, Michael, and you're I know that you don't watch Celtic YouTube channels. You see us as a strain and a pain in your side. Let's jump into some of the comments this morning. Celtic won't pay $3 million. We need number 6. We need the centre back. We will get nothing, says Craig. We need another striker in. This is the only guy that we're going to get. Martin O'Neill wants the deal. Reason played Welsh in the cup game, so he couldn't then be sold to Aberdeen. I think we're waiting on getting another defender. Yeah, I think that we're getting to Celtic time, aren't we? Chalpel says, remember, this also gets Welsh off our wage bill. Motherwell would have been paying some of his wages for his time, but I don't think that Stephen Welsh is on fantastic wages. Nicholson doesn't know what a phone is. 3 million plus Welsh, yes, deal me in. Celtic Girl says that she has that mug. Oh, you've taken Jota out your name. What's going on? Celtic Girl 2026 has changed from Celtic Girl 2026 to from Celtic Girl Jota. I notice these little things, you know. Everyone's a winner of this transfer. Motherwell get Welsh and 3 million. We get a striker. Welsh plays regular football. I think that talks was Welsh valued 2 million and they were 4 million, and Motherwell at million don't lose the player for 1 million. I would give them the 3 million plus Welsh, plus a buyback clause. Just add that in. You don't need to buy him back, but if he does improve as a player, now there's no suggestion that Stephen Welsh is going to do a Liam Scales, and you never know. You never know. Celtic have sold defenders before. We've allowed defenders to go that have went on to become £10 million players. You know, players that are regular starts for Scotland. And the clause that Celtic should be putting in to these contracts is a potential buyback clause. Within a certain period. You know, a buyback clause that if the player does well and he excels as a player, do you know, as Tommy Cooper used to say, just like. I mean, he had a hat and a wand, didn't he? So isn't that a more Rangers thing to do? That should have been done weeks ago. Yeah, it should have been, but could have been. Stephen Welsh wage report at Celtic is 8,600 a week. Holy moly! Really? Well, he's going to have to take a wage drop to go to Motherwell, isn't he? That's where the buyback clause comes in, though. Oh, yeah. In other news, if I know that a lot of you love social media and a lot of you are doing good at filming, Celtic are looking for a videographer. Just thought I'd throw that one in for Celtic, just help them out. I think they need a lot of help now and again. Welsh has never been good enough. No point in a buyback clause. He's not young talent anymore. Remember a certain selling O was a mistake. O had the chance of being sold for 24 million at one point. He's now on the 20 million move. There was a defender that we brought from Dundee. A defender we bought from Dundee. Young guy. Celtic sold him. I'm not exactly sure who he's playing for now, but he's a consistent in the Scotland squad. And he sold, sure he sold for 10 million. Don't know. Just saying. Glad to get Welsh moving the other way. But I feel he's been undervalued at 1 million. That's a sore one, Celtic 2026. I know exactly what you're going through, because I know someone that went through the exact same operation. Anyway, Jack Hendry. Yes, it was Jack Hendry. Big Rab always gets it right. Stephen Hendry. Jack Hendry, playing in the same place as Rodgers. Is he? Well, there you go. You know, we're just supporters. What do we really know about football? I mean, you can sit and comment all day long, and that's all I do. I'm not a professional reporter. I'm just a YouTuber. Um, People can't be wrong if Jack Hendry's playing in the same place as Rodgers. I mean, and he's a number one for Scotland. He was chased out of Celtic. Celtic fans said he's not good enough. Players can turn their career around. But anyway, if Welsh was worth more than a million, McCown is definitely worth 5. Jack Hendry never got a proper chance at Celtic. He was young and inexperienced when he came to us. Just like many of the youth that come through the system at Celtic. £8 a week, wouldn't they get him a bed for less than 10? Says Mikey Boy, laughing face. Yeah. We had Jack as a kid and let him go to Dundee, then brought him back. That sums us up. Yeah. Yeah, we let him go to Dundee, we buy him back, and then we sell him, and we don't make very good money on him. But anyway, Celtic are in talks, talking about the youth that kind of flows on lovely this next part of the video. Joseph says, we had Jack as a kid and let him go to Dundee, then we brought him back. That sums us up. There's 2 Celtic players, youth players, Josh Clark and Ben McPherson. They're both at Partick Thistle at the moment. And the Partick Thistle manager, who we all know well, Mark Wilson, he wants to sign the duo on a permanent deal. Josh Clark and Ben McPherson are both currently on loan at Partick Thistle until the end of this season. Both players have jumped straight into action and become regular starters for Wilson. It's an interesting one. That's another one where, young players, they're not going to get the Josh Clark one. I would definitely I would let him go. I'm a big believer in Celtic should have these. It happens with European clubs all the time. Buyback options. European clubs put that in. They don't have to take up the option to buy back. When the player, if there's interest in the player from other clubs, what it does do, it means if a club comes in and says, "Oh, we want the player for 5 million," what it does do, it gives you the opportunity to go, well, we've got a buyback option for 3 million. Is it worth the risk? Don't know if he's currently worth 5 million. I think that we should be doing, especially with the younger players. Ben McPherson, Josh Clark, the goalkeeper. I would stick that in with him. Just let him go and play football. Let him go through the ranks, and you never know. Have a buyback clause that if he stays with the club for 3 or 4 years, and he turns out to be a half decent keeper, he's a goalkeeper that's not going to get a chance at Celtic. Let's face it. Young goalkeepers don't get a chance at Celtic. So for me, I would like to see the management of Celtic having this type of buyback option. But anyway, we were 1 million for Welsh on the way up the road. I'm just reading some of the comments. We'll soon need Stephen Hendry for Snookers. He's a Hearts fan. You're not getting Stephen Hendry. He's a Hearts fan. Was going for 20 million. Celtic had a buyback option of 20 million. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Motherwell are going to have a big say where this title goes this season. Yeah, they will do. And this is why Motherwell are quite right within the right to want big money for their player, because they ultimately know that if they sell a player that's banging in goals for them, it could affect their position in the league. And he could also bang in some goals against Hearts, Celtic and Rangers. Let's just jump through some of these. Motherwell will finish third. Motherwell will finish second or third, ahead of the Zombies. Where are we then? Fourth. Can't see anything happening regarding transfers after Thursday's game. Yeah, we know that. We know that, Chilpill. I mean, people are saying, oh, we need to get deals done now. It's never going to happen. Michael Nicholson and Co will wait to see if... There's 2 reasons that Celtic will wait, because they know that they're going to get a couple of $100,000 260 grand, I think it is, for winning the game. If they win the game, Celtic might just go, do you know what? Fuck. Do we really need these extra games in Europe? Should we just do the unthinkable and lose a game? Or do we finish on the high and then get into the playoffs? And then for the playoffs, all the players that have been brought in this window are then eligible to play. Ooh. Gives the board something to think about. So then the board then go, right, we'll wait until see what happens on Thursday. If we win and we get into the playoffs, we'll get some players in. If we don't win and we don't get into the playoffs, we'll just carry on with what we've got until the end of the season, and then we'll just let the next manager deal with the shit show that we have. I don't know. That is the way that Celtic do things. I feel really bad for Welsh. He's been treated badly by us. Yeah, he's been treated atrocious. Atrocious. Not even made the bench. But anyway. I'm reading the comments. I don't know if you're using this as a dating site or if it's just like genuine interest. Bunch of weirdos sometimes. Welsh's shite comment of the day. Celtic are not spending $3 million on the Motherwell player, says Mikey Boy. Well, Rangers will spend $4 million on him and they'll win the league. Simple as that. But anyway. We really don't need Europe, but I think players will want it. Yeah, of course they will. This is why players come to Celtic ultimately, is to get seen in Europe, and well, we all know that it gives players the platform to ultimately. I mean, Nicol Kuhn said it when he signed for Celtic. He signed with the gentleman's agreement, the shake of the hands, that he's only going to be here for 2 years, and Celtic would then sell him on. 18 months, 2 years maximum. He knew that, and he admitted that when he left. Celtic used that as a way to entice players in. Come to Celtic, show people that you're a winner, win a couple of medals with Celtic, and then move on. This season, it's very unlikely that Celtic will win a couple of medals. You never know. We're not out the races as yet, but they'll have a transfer deadline day, dross signing. Keeps him feeling relevant or something. We've had a couple of late day signings. Celtic enter the race for the Bodo Glimt striker. That one comes from a website that I wouldn't give the time of day to be honest. And people, a lot of Celtic sites will put up with it, but the one that's coming out with the exclusive, I'm not buying it. It's Peter O'Rourke. And Peter O'Rourke has never had... He does Football Insider 24. They have Celtic Insider. They've got Rangers Insider. They're clickbait specialists. And Peter O'Rourke has never got it right with one Celtic signing yet as an exclusive. Rant over. Fact. Peter O'Rourke comes out every single even when there's no transfer window. Peter O'Rourke comes out exclusive. Absolute bellend. Said it. Yeah, so it's come from Peter O'Rourke. Personally, he's a clickbait specialist. The website that he works for, Footy Insider, they have Facebook page Celtic Insider, they have Facebook page Rangers Insider, and then when you go into the Celtic Insider Facebook page, they have fucking English stuff coming up. Totally unrelated. They'll just press boom and it goes to all their sites. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying, and I bet Peter O'Rourke's not even his real name. It's probably a fake name. Football writer, podcaster, DMs open. These are my own views. It's a nonsense website. But anyway, I just thought I would put that one out there because Paul put that up on there. Personally, I don't believe it. But wait and see. You never know. Turnbull was 3.75. That we sold Turnbull for 3.75. No, we sold him for 3 million, didn't we? Did we buy him for 3.75? Can't remember. Nicholson brought himself a smartphone, thinking it would make his job better at his job. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to jump through the comments. Turnbull was a close family friend. Watched his career. Celtic got 3 million for Turnbull when he had 6 months left on his contract. I thought that Turnbull, as a player, he didn't progress much, but he's a fantastic little player. Turnbull had. I always remember that Turnbull and fans going crazy when Turnbull kept Rio Hatate out the team at the beginning of the season. Now, if anybody that season had watched Turnbull, and if you'd watched any of the pre-season games, Turnbull was on fire that season. He was absolutely on fire that pre-season. And Rio Hatate was just same Rio Hatate. He's the same that he is now. But Turnbull got the shout, and Celtic fans were enraged with Brendan Rodgers that Turnbull got the shout over Rio Hatate. Oh, that's it. He doesn't like Brendan's he doesn't like Ange's players. Turnbull was punting in the goals. I think he got 2 or 3 goals in the space of a couple of weeks. Dunno. And then he was out of the team again come October. But then Celtic, he was in the last year of his contract, and he moved into, he got a £3 million deal. Turnbull's on 20 grand a week. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. This transfer window must yield more positivity in the usual 12th hour. We'll wait and see. Anyway, as for Celtic news, there's a lot of calls for Derek McInnes to be cranked up in front of the SFA. Callum McGregor has says that he ultimately wants to stay here. With an interview that he gave, he has said that, no, I'm even more determined to stay, even more because of what has happened this season. We've had a very difficult spell. We're used to winning, then things don't go your way. So now we have to show everyone that you want to be a winner, and you want to stay, and you want to fight, and you want to make the club successful. That is the message that Callum McGregor has instilled in the dressing room. He is not one for walking away. Anyway, all eyes now turn. It's Tuesday afternoon. All eyes now turn to the next game, which is down on the screen there. It is Celtic versus Utrecht in the Europa. Celtic still have a chance of getting through to the playoff positions, unlike some teams in Europe. It's not all... We can laugh at them, but to fair play to that mob across the city, they have got to the further rounds in Europe when Celtic haven't. Maybe this is Celtic's turn to get into the later rounds of Europe whilst they sit at home watching EastEnders, or The Bill, if that's still on. Is that still a thing? Or was that just back 2003 banter? Anyway, if Celtic do win against Utrecht this week, each place on the table is worth £65,000. So the further you get up the table, the more £65,000 that you get. The further down the table, the less £65,000 that you get. You get 260,000 for reaching the playoffs. Is that all? Do you remember that last year in the Champions League, if we got automatic qualification, if you finished 8th position and up in the Champions League, you got an automatic payment of 9.2 million. The money in the Europa compared to the Champions League is it's insignificant, isn't it? I don't know. It's almost irrelevant. But if we do get the playoff positions, there's a chance that we could play Porto. There's a chance that we could play Nottingham Forest. I still think it's going to be one of those two. And if it is Martin O'Neill's, it's obviously Martin O'Neill's last hurrah in Europe to overcome Porto after all these years. And I'm not talking about getting to the final and stuff. I know, just getting to the playoff position and getting revenge. That's going to be a big thing for Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill will have that at the back of his mind. But then again, if he gets Nottingham Forest in the playoff, that'll be a bittersweet moment for Martin, because Martin O'Neill won the Champions League twice with Nottingham Forest as a player. So it's going to be an interesting one, whatever happens. Anyway, that is me done and dusted for this morning. Let me just double check if the votes have went up on the poll. Has it? Nope. Make sure that you do jump on to the main page of the One Celtic Fans View YouTube channel, and then you see there's home, videos, shorts, live, playlist, and then posts. Click on posts, scroll down, go to the poll, and then make sure that you get as many people, because I want to try and get around about, let's see if we can get 2,000 votes in before the 3rd of February. And on that note, I will be back later on this evening, 8 p.m. Celtic Park time, unless there is, I don't know, in fact, we're just going to stay on, aren't we? There's 440 on, yeah, it's only 9 o'clock, just stay on. I'll stay on. I'm going to stay on. We'll just stay on. We'll jump back into the news. Celtic actually perform away from home in the league. Aberdeen soon must win. Yeah. Chilwell says hit the thumbs up. Let me just see if there's any more interesting. When was the European Cup was winners of leagues? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even want to talk about the Champions League really. Let me just see this. Twitter. O'Neill's too conservative. Well, that's what we wait and see. Anyway, right, I'll catch you all later on. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.